Hello, beautiful soul family. It's Breanne here. Welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, welcome to Readings with Breanne. I just wanted to first of all start off by wishing all you guys a absolutely prosperous and wonderful 2025. I hope you guys all had a wonderful, happy new year. And I'm just looking forward to what 2025 has in store for all of us. So for all of you guys that have been with me, I just wanted to say thank you so much. I appreciate all your guys' love and support. And without you guys, there wouldn't be a channel here. So thank you so much. It really means a lot having you guys come by and check out my videos. So if you guys like this, please don't forget to subscribe. Again, always open to hearing your guys' feedback and other topics as well. So if you guys would like a personal reading, please note I will never reach out to you. So feel free to visit that website at Readings with Breanne if you're interested in a session from me. So with that being said, I'm going to dive into the topic for today. Now this one is a bit of a heavier, it's a heavier topic. We've had multiple plane crashes or emergency landings in such a short period of time. I was kind of curious about just looking into the tarot on this one because I kind of ended up going down a little bit of a rabbit hole when it came to the numbers, and I'll get a little bit more into what I mean by that in a few moments. But this video is going to be a tarot dive, and I'll see a little bit what I can get from the crystal ball when it comes to the flights, specifically even the one flight that recently went down December 29th in South Korea. Unfortunately, there were 179 individuals that were lives were taken. So very sad situation, and my heart absolutely goes out to everyone in that scenario, in that situation as well. So lots of love to everyone who has lost people in tragic situations here, such as this. Now, with that South Korea flight going down, we've had that big situation. We've had another one happen in Kazakhstan there. That one had an emergency landing as well, where again, 38 people were also killed. Then we also had a plane go down in Canada. We had another, I think, Dutch KLM. It was just one after another. And, this was in a very short term. I believe it was like within a 24-hour period. I may not be really correct by that, but within like a couple days, there was all these reportings on these crashes and emergency landings when it came to these flights going down. Now, something that really caught my attention though, which is why I wanted to kind of just share and see what was coming out of the tarot, because I'm like, okay, is this just a situation that happens? Like, I'm not saying all these incidences are linked, but there was something that was really drawing my attention. And when it came to it, down to the numbers that were related from the dates, the flight numbers, and all of that. And let me explain that a little bit. So we'll try to dissect it a little bit together because I'm still trying to kind of connect the dots in terms of what these numbers fully represent. But it really brought me back to another big event I know you guys are going to know about. So we'll talk about that as well in a moment. So again, let's start with this Boeing 737 that crashed on December 29th. We have the 29th, 9 plus 2 or 2 plus 9 is the number 11, okay? And what else I found was interesting was, okay, we got flight 2216, 2 plus 2 plus 1 plus 6 is also another 11. So I'm like, okay, so we have a flight going down on numbers that add up to 11, then we have these flight numbers that add up to 11. It's like, okay, interesting. So I kind of kept dissecting it from there. And I was comparing it to some other situations. Like if we look at the flight on December 25th, there was an airlines that had an emergency landing. And now this one was in that Kazakhstan. And apparently it says here 38 people their lives were lost. We have 3 plus 8, we have another 11. And what's interesting, 29 others survived the accident. 2 plus 9, we have another 11. So it's like, oh my goodness. Okay. I have pulled some tarot as well. I'm going to go over this, but I haven't really connected too deeply to it yet. And I looked down and I'm like, okay, that's crazy. I have my 2 of Wands. It is in reverse, but look at that. We have 1, 2. So we have two of wands, but the twos, like the two sticks, look like the number, guess what, 11s. And you know what's really interesting, between the number 11s and the number 9, the number 9 keeps coming out with this energy as well. And when you look at that, go backwards. What big event had the numbers 9 and the number 11 in it? 9/11. So it's really interesting to see all these numbers kind of correlate and come together, and it's a little bit mind-blowing. It had me go down a little bit of a rabbit hole with that. So I wanted to share that with you guys, but I wanted to see what I was getting out of the crystal ball as well, and we'll see kind of what energies, and then we'll pull some more tarot together as well. But I'm not, okay, let me take a step back. Let me take a look. I'm going to spend a few moments and see what I can get out of the crystal ball here. Okay, so for one thing is, it wouldn't surprise me if there are more of these similar situations happening. Lots of prayers out there in terms of no additional lives being taken, but I feel like there is a lot in the crystal ball with just planes. I don't know if it's referring to these ones that have went down, but there are multiple planes that I just see kind of this situation. So it's a pretty sad thing. But you know what's really interesting? This is just a feeling I'm getting. I'm not necessarily seeing this in the crystal ball, but there's lots of speculations, especially, lots of things going out pertaining to the South Korea flight. And there's speculations in terms of like, is this, human error? Is this a malfunction with the system? They're talking about a potential bird strike. And there's lots of kind of, raised eyebrows at the bird strike because planes, this is something that is common. Although I think when he was patching in with one of the towers, they directed him to another runway because of lots of birds or bird strike or something of that matter. So now, I'm not really in the aviation industry, so I can't really say exactly what impacts those will have, but from what I've read, a bird strike is something that is pretty common when it comes to airplanes, and it shouldn't take down a plane. Now, what I was trying to, go with though, is I'm not feeling that this was, let's say, a human error. I don't feel like that's the case. I feel like the pilot was very much on the ball. He knew what he was doing. I don't feel like this was a newer pilot. I feel like he was very much a veteran, is what it feels like. Again, that's just, I'm not seeing that in the crystal ball. That's just a feeling that I'm getting. So let me just see here. Yep. Okay. So I have the Six of Pentacles, the Emperor, and the Tower as well. And that's really indicating that sudden situation with the plane coming down and crashing when it comes to the pilot. Whoops. So with the Emperor, again, I get that energy of like, this is somebody that is a veteran with flying planes or in the aviation industry. I feel like he knew what he's doing. It wasn't some like, oh, oops, we crashed a plane. You know what I mean? So I don't get that. I feel like, I believe that they were still investigating and they're uncovering and trying to see what they can get from the black box. But what's interesting is when I look at the tarot cards that came out as well, and what I'm seeing in the crystal ball is there is one thing that is very prominent, and it's what I could explain to be like a planetary alignment, okay? And what is really interesting, you guys, in the tarot, I have the sun, the star, and the moon. So I have the sun, the stars, and the moon all coming out in the tarot. And that's really relating to the planetary alignment. So pretty soon I'll switch the camera over so you guys can see these cards, because it's quite interesting to see the energy. And the sun, the stars, and the moon have all come out in reverse, and they've come out over the major situations. So over the plane, over the situations, and that future. And you know what I will say though, like it's okay, there's kind of, again, a two-part thing here. So I think a big thing of this is, again, a planetary alignment. It feels like this specific South Korea situation has a karmic energy. We have the Justice and the Page of Swords, and something about it just feels karmic. So, I mean, again, this is an energy report, so I'm just sharing a perspective and what I'm getting with you guys. You guys can take or leave whatever resonates or doesn't. But I'm getting that part of this whole situation that's happening with the plane crashes is this alignment. It's a planetary alignment, which is resulting in an instability within the maybe mechanics of the planes. Now, I'm gonna ask the tarot because I don't know, like, are all these plane crashes, the ones that happen within like 24 to 48 hours, are these related somehow? Because I'm not entirely sure. Now, some of them, again, the South Korea one was a huge tragedy, and there was still a tragedy as well with the let's see, with the one in Kazakhstan. That one apparently December 25th, again, 38 people didn't make it, 29 survived. So again, still a lot of people that lost their lives to this. And what's really interesting is I think they're examining in the South Korea International, or the airport there, the setup, because the plane, it did land, it made its landing, even though the wheels weren't able to, you know, there's something to do with the gear landing or something of that matter. Did I get that term right? Landing gear? Was it the landing gear? I don't know if there was something that wasn't working, but it looks like there was something that was not stable. So it wouldn't surprise me that something was malfunctioning is what I'm getting with the plane. Which would result to the pilot not, again, doing A, B, and C, because there seems to be, I feel like, you know, of course, the pilots, their job is to get the plane there safe, get everyone there safe, and a lot of pressure is on them. And I'm not trying to dismiss any human error, but I don't actually get a big energy of it's something that the pilot did. I feel like this is something that he could not. He was trying his hardest to keep it together and get everyone safely, but it wasn't aligning for him here. So lots of instabilities and a malfunction with the system. And when the plane crashed, I think it would have been like most people would be okay, but this unfortunate situation is when he was directed to the other runway as well. There was a massive, I believe, what was it, like cement tower or cement barrier, and the plane crashed into it, and upon the impact it exploded and went up in flames. So very tragic situation. So again, my heart goes out to all of the people in that situation. Very sad. So when I'm looking at this as well, the one other thing I wanted to mention though is, you guys, look at this. I have the devil, okay? And that's why I want to look and see what the energy is between all of these plane crashes. I think there was 4 of them in a small, short period of time, like, because I am getting the potential that this could be some kind of a karmic situation that could be, again, a sacrifice. Because look at that devil there. Again, look at this 9/11. I'm not trying to compare it, but it's just one of those things that is bringing me to that past situation of 9/11. So very, very interesting. And you guys, on the back of the deck, we also have judgments, like Judgment Day here. So something aligning, planetary alignment, but I think that there is some energy harvesting that is also being done as well. I don't know, pinpointing in terms of specific who's doing this energy harvesting, but I mean, we could say this guy here, in terms of that devil. So let's pull a few more tarot cards and see what the momentum or energy is about some of the questions around these plane crashes. Because when I look into the crystal ball, it's showing me some things, but it's kind of minimal. The main thing I'm getting is I keep getting like a planetary alignment with this, and I am seeing just multiple planes. So I don't know if this is indicating that there could be potentially more plane crashes in the future, or it could be a bit of a thing that we see on the news again in this year in 2025. All right, so I changed my screens. I almost forgot I had my dual screens, so I can show you guys the tarot as I'm talking here. But a really interesting energy that it came out as I was showing you guys before. We do have the sun, the star, the sun, and the moon over the main energies of these plane crashes. So something else that's interesting that I'm seeing in the crystal ball is I guess one last thing I want to say with the crystal ball is with this 2 of Wands, I'm almost seeing this inner energy, but the wands here are as I said, my 11s, they're showing up as gateways, okay? And there's almost two sets of them as well, which is interesting. Or it's like when you're looking at a mirror and they just keep going is what it's forming into, which is interesting. So it's like these could be a planetary alignment for gateways for certain scenarios or situations to happen. And when sometimes this energy here is using those gateways for not great things, then other, unfortunate situations like this could happen. So there's kind of a multitude of things happening when it comes to these situations with the plane crashings or the need of these emergency landings. But I have to say, when I'm looking at this past, like we have a reckless energy coming in, right? So when this planetary alignment is happening, and like I said, the elite, these negative forces are going down, you guys. They are being taken down. Look at the skies in New York and New Jersey. Look at the drones, the orbs. This is a situation where things are happening on a global level where these guys here are not going to be around for much longer. So they're using what they can to kind of harvest that energy. Because when I see this is the magician, manipulation. They're manipulating because they're desperate. It's a call for desperation here. And it's a lot of instability. So sometimes this energy could cause certain malfunctionings within the planes as well. Because I think there's been a lot of blame going on to the pilots, which I'm not trying to dismiss anything. This is all alleged. But when I look into this energy, I don't get it's because of a human error. There's something greater happening on a bigger scale here. So very sad and unfortunate situation. But that's what I kind of wanted to share with you guys there. So let's dive into a few more specific questions when it comes to these crashes or emergency landings, I guess we can say. You know what? I do want to say one more thing. I'm wondering if the South Korea one specifically turns into kind of a bit of a scandal or situation, because the moon in reverse is secrets being unrevealed. Like it's this unveiling of truths. So when I see that, I'm like, oh, you know what? This thing, this is not the last. We're going to, I think, consistently hear. This is going to be a big topic of discussion moving forward as further investigations happen. And it wouldn't surprise me if there's been some kind of corrupt energy in the backgrounds of this. So interesting, but it's a feel of lashing out, and like people are, playing with certain data and information here and trying to alter the truth. But it does feel like there's a justice, and it does look like there could be that truth coming out about it. So oh boy. All right, so let's see here. Let's look and ask, let's kind of focus on that South Korea flight. Let's look at what is the energy. I mean, I pulled a couple cards on the pilot, so I'm like, okay, well, what was the state of the pilot in that case when this was happening, right? Was this something, maybe he was exhausted, maybe he was tired, maybe it was a human error. So was that the case? And I didn't get that was the case, but let's see what the tarot have to say. Let's look at the state of the pilots during this situation with the South Korea flight going down. What was the state of the pilot? The Hanged Man, the Ace of Cups, there's that Justice. This is very much a karmic thing. But again, I don't get the fact that he necessarily had something specific to do with it. I wouldn't be surprised though if, when I see this Four of Swords in the outcome, it does look like there's a feeling of a bit of exhaustion from him. You know what? I wonder if there is something else bigger, but it's going to come out as if it's putting the blame on the pilot. Because I feel like when we look at this, it's like he's trying to come up with ideas on how to get everyone safely to the ground. And it feels like when I see the rest of this, again, this is karmic, and someone is working, some institution, the airline company, somebody at the top is working on trying to make it look like he there was more, let's say, human error than there really was. So because I don't get that from him, I feel like he was very much trying to do what he can to get everyone safely, and I do feel like a veteran energy. But I wouldn't be surprised if there are some scandals and stuff that go along with this whole case. All right, so I changed my screens. I almost forgot I had my dual screens, so I can show you guys the tarot as I'm talking here. But it's really interesting energy that it came out as I was showing you guys before. We do have the sun, the star, the sun, and the moon over the main energies of these plane crashes. So something else that's interesting that I'm seeing in the crystal ball is I guess one last thing I want to say with the crystal ball is with this Two of Wands, I'm almost seeing this inner energy, but the wands here are, as I said, my 11s. So let's see if we can get a little bit more on this situation. Can we get a confirmation on what was the state of being for the pilot of the South Korean flight? And let's see if we can just get, like, are there any energies to suggest with this high priest trying to cover up anything or any hidden information with the truth about this? Okay, well, we've got the Three of Wands for his energy. Eight of Swords. You guys, look at this. Okay, because the last time we had the moon in reverse, we have the moon in reverse over the high priestess. Absolutely, something is being covered up. No, they're gonna hide information so the public doesn't know. Six of Wands, but you guys, look at this. We have a victory and the Justice, so it's not gonna work. Something's coming out about what happened and regarding about these deaths here. We have that death on the back of the deck. Oh my gosh, I have to say I am really loving tarot more and more every day. It's so phenomenal, you guys. Okay, so when we look at this. Yes, when I look at the state of the pilot again, I don't get this energy of him messing up to a point that he was the reason. Okay, I don't get that. I think that he was very much doing the best he could, and he very much was following guidelines, safety precautions. I don't get a bad energy from the pilot. But moving forward, look at the situation. The other question is there any information that someone is going to try hiding? Because this is still under investigation, and they're trying to get information from the black box to see if they can find out what exactly went down, or what if there was anything to indicate that there was some suspicious energy happening or conversations on the box. So when I see that, look at this. This is the unveiling of secrets with the moon. Something was being blocked. We have Ace of Pentacles in reverse as well. And you know what's interesting? I mean, when I see this Ace of Pentacles as well, I wouldn't be surprised if there's something on that plane as well where they were cheap, okay? And when I say that, I'm thinking like the airlines, if they're like, maybe trying to cut costs and using parts that were not up to par, that could have resulted in the malfunctioning. But guess what? That's going to make the company look bad, so they're going to try to hide it and bury it with that moon, because they think there was some kind of a malfunctioning part within the well, obviously there was. I mean, unless it was a bird strike, but something malfunctioned, but it's going to be covered up, because I feel like the parts that were used, it's like this is an energy of a poor, it's a stingy energy, a poor decision being made. And I think that when we look at the Pentacles, it's relating to the actual materialistic side of, when planes go in for their inspections, it's like, maybe this certain thing or this certain part shouldn't have been used, because they're cutting corners, because they're trying to not spend as much money here. Maybe the company itself is financially, maybe they weren't doing so well, so they're trying to cut corners here. But absolutely, it feels like there's definitely some stuff going on behind the scenes as well with the ethical side of it. We have the Eight of Swords in reverse. So again, I'm getting kind of a couple different things. Like I wouldn't be surprised if somehow there's a bunch of blame. I mean, I don't believe the pilot survived, so it wouldn't surprise me if there's some kind of higher up that is placing the blame on the pilot as well, because there's like, oh, the energy of being exhausted and and this going on, or this was said in the plane on this recovered box, but it's been altered information or something, or altered data. But this Four of Swords and the Four of Cups in the outcome it's kind of showing this energy of well, one, a huge burnout. It's the need to like step back and reflect on the situation. But I wonder if this is like reflecting on priorities. Oh, well, let's let's replace certain parts of the plane with lower cost items, or I don't want to say items, but mechanical parts, and put the extra money in our pockets, right? Because we had that devil energy. So I feel like there's been a lot of like reevaluation on how to cut corners when it comes to this company. And it resulted in potentially a malfunctioning and a massive tragedy. But of course, they don't, they're going to try to cover their butts. So I think other things may be said. So I think this whole thing has the potential to have lots of maybe conspiracies or scandals in the future. But what I will say is, like, when I look at, I really do love that we have the Six of Wands with the Justice, because it is showing that there will be truth that comes out to this. So it may be a bit of a long road, but there's going to be truth about what happened and what really caused all of this tragedy and death. So wow, really crazy. Really crazy, you guys. So I think I'll just ask one more question. I'm curious if, for some reason, are all of these other flights, is there a connection between them all? So let's ask that before we wrap it up here. What do we have, Spirit, when it comes to the 4 flights that had emergency landings or issues with the landing gears? Are these at all related? All right, let's see. Are these plane incidents, are they all related to each other? The World. They are on a certain level, yes, I do see them related. And when I see this World and the Two of Pentacles, this is my indication that, yes, it's another confirmation that I was getting in the crystal ball with a planetary alignment. Again, I'm not super versed on astrology, but I do feel like astrologically things have lined up, resulting in this energy. So that's what it looks like. So I do think that these other crashes that have happened in such a short period, they're related, but maybe not in necessarily the way of, it's one, let's say, higher up owner or director that's involved in all of these. It's more at an, let's say, planetary alignment level, that where these are coming together and happening. So it does feel like on some level, yes, they are related, and in terms of like some kind of a planetary alignment, that's why they keep. And it's interesting that all of them have also had very similar issues with the again, the landing gear. So wow. Let me pull I'm going to actually pull just one more. Is there a potential for more of these situations to happen in 2025? Because I was seeing multiple planes in the crystal ball. So let's say, are there potential for multiple plane malfunctions in 2025? Is this going to be something that will continue in the months to come? Three of Swords, you guys. It's very much a possibility that these may happen throughout 2025 with this energy. So I don't, when I see the rest of it, it's like the Three of Swords is a big heartbreak, because again, I mean, there's been lots of casualties with this, but going forward as well with the Seven of Pentacles as the outcome, it very much does look like a potential with the Seven of Pentacles, like a building up of maybe some more tensions or some more unfortunate situations with that. And it's what's interesting on the back of the deck is the Knight of Cups. But if you can see, I mean, this is a version of a dog going to the vet, but it is kind of getting checked out as well, making sure everything's okay. And I think there could be, with the fact that there's been accumulation of these incidences, there will be stricter guidelines, which would be nice as well. So you can see with that Emperor, it's like making sure there's certain like stamped and sealed in terms of like, yes, everything in this flight or in this plane has been checked. So it feels like there will be more stricter rules and regulations maybe on the maintenance side, but I do see a potential of some rocky energies when it comes to the flights and the planes moving forward in 2025. So again, just lots of precautions to be safe. Maybe this is my personal opinion, but after going down that rabbit hole as well, I mean, I think I would want to personally avoid getting on flights or traveling on days that really are linked to the number 11. If you're traveling on a day that has the 11th and your flight number adds up to 11, it's kind of like, ooh, it's a little bit of a sore spot. So kind of just from my perspective, you guys, this is just me giving you guys a perspective, but just like even encouraging you guys as well, do a little bit of digging and just look how things and synchronicities come together, because I found that quite interesting to see how many 9s and how many 11s. Things either added up to, I seen 18, 8 plus 1 is 9, or they added up to the number 11. And sometimes this is to do with flight numbers, dates, you name it, all of that stuff. So whether there's past the amount of passengers on board, that sort of thing is really quite intriguing to approach it from that angle. So anyway, of course, as always, I'm sending you guys so much love and light on your journey. Stay safe. Have, wonderful travels if anyone is traveling out there in the next little while. Again, protect your energy as well, sending lots of love and positivity, and so much love to you all. And until next time, lovely soul family, bye for now.